Good evening, friends. This is Big Chonis. Thank you so much for joining me on this impromptu and unexpected live broadcast of Bitcoin's bullish price action as we have closed out a new week in the price of Bitcoin. And we're starting off our week right now with some nice bull volume, and we're retesting once again and breaking through our near-term resistance of 41.78 with this current area of a $4,200 breakthrough on our way, still trying to get to the $4,400 range. But let's just back up and restart and see where we're at. Remember, guys, can follow me on Twitter. I am at Big Chonis. These are all my best ideas. I take technical analysis very seriously. I'm a crypto trader, an investor, a mentor, a chart psychologist. Please do your own research. So we were watching before this bull break a similar pattern of resistance at a 20%, or the percentage really isn't the fact, but the fact that we're seeing the consistency of this angle repeating, and we've just broken through that trend. Lower low, higher low breakout on a very good looking volume as we start a new day. Remember, guys, also follow me on YouTube. Put lots of great content out there. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. And I'm also a feature contributor to the Bitcoin Live platform. Now, our cryptocurrency market, okay, our market cap was as low as $100 billion. We've added $40 billion to our market cap since we found support in the 3150 area, and our Bitcoin dominance 51.9 has decreased from being as high as 56%, showing that money has been spreading into altcoins, not just Bitcoins, on this rise. And we've definitely seen many altcoins have a significantly higher percentage gain than Bitcoin itself. So let's back up, look at our weekly candle, which we just closed only about an hour ago. Let's back it up. Now listen, we started the week off with a bang, but let's just see where we ended our last week's candle and kind of what has allowed us to move forward here. Now, I want to bring up my TD sequential because we did have a price flip. Okay, now even though we have a green 2 here, this just started. This weekly candle is an hour old. So please completely ignore it for now. What we want to focus on the weekly is this candle here. We just closed it, okay, which took the entire week to form. And what's important is we were able to close above, okay, our closing low of our November 19th candle. And then our how do I say this? Our open of our November 26th candle by closing where we did today or yesterday, right at, where do we close to the dollar here? 39.44. And remember, we had to close above 39.36 to have that TD price flip. And we did that. Now, our volume last week was very good, and our wick on our weekly candle was very small. So this is a very good looking weekly way to close out Bitcoin, bullishly engulfing last week's previous candle on this price flip. Again, I'm going to do the weekly chart and then go into lower time frames here. Now, very nice support on our 30 area on our weekly, but every time I bring up my weekly, I am compelled to bring up my Bitstamp weekly chart as we reflect upon once again what happened in 2014 and 2015 here on our Bitcoin bear break. We tested 30. We found a very nice bounce. We're not able to get up to the area where we were previously finding support, rolled over and ended up putting a lower low into the RSI on the 30, breaking on the weekly. Are we doing a similar pattern where we have established our 30 break somewhere right here? We're bouncing because of the 30 break, initial test and break of it. And then we're going to do some sort of initial top off and roller. Are we getting through that cycle there? Wow, 4,300. Whoa, let's go into the quick time frame here because we have some great volume and we did it. Wow, that was quick. We just did two things here. Okay, so we just closed our gap. All right, a lot just happened here in that little last pulse there. Look at that. Bitcoin hitting 40, hitting what we hit here, 30, 43.80, and we have to break 44.90. So we're about $100 away from putting in a higher high from our previous resistance line that stopped our bullish momentum at the end of November here. Wow, what a great volume profile on the hourly. And look at this, we just started our hour here. Oh, I'm sorry, I take that back. This is the new hourly candle. We finished our previous hourly candle off with a bang. Okay, look at that. Wow. Oh, I'm on Phoenix. I apologize. I apologize. I'm on Phoenix. That's more like it. There we go. My apologies here. We're supposed to be on Coinbase. It's a USD, true USD, $4,200. I apologize. We still have not broken through our $4,400 area here. Okay, but we're still angling to get it going with this nice bullish momentum here. Okay, now we still have a lower low, but I mean, listen, we just saw it on the USDT exchange. Yeah, we're still putting in a lower low there as well, just barely. Okay, so that has to go to 44.50. Looks like 43, 44.40 there. So a little higher on the USDT exchanges, but on Coinbase we are still needing to break 44.20 on this move. And a nice way to start the day. All right, so let's go back to our weekly candle there. And what we're talking about was that support we found at the 30 area on our RSI. Let's look at our stochastic. Now, when we were ranging lower here, we were actually looking to bottom out, and we never did that. We never did that. But we got darn close, and we sure did pancake on our leading indicator here, and we touched equal bottom here with our trailing indicator. And what a move up, actually putting in right now intra-week, again, as higher high, but we just started our new week there. So we closed the week on a good momentum pulse. But listen, this is just a brand new week here of price action. And our MACD, wow, this is from our previous show. Our MACD is showing us that we still have a ways to go to do any kind of a cross here. And we are still in the negative in terms of our histogram, but we are putting in higher lows here, building up and building up. So what's happened here? We've moved over $1,000 in Bitcoin in like a week and a half ever since we had our big bear break. Remember, we've moved $1,000. We were at 3150. Now we're at 4150. Okay. Many of our indicators have moved in stride with this big move, but we're still watching to get our chalk and money flow, especially on our weekly chart, above our positive line. So it's kind of interesting with all this bullish price action to still have my CMF on the zero, on the negative. Okay, just shows how bearish we were. So what are we doing here? Well, we're correcting from oversold conditions, and we're also putting in something that we're going to have to keep an eye on here, of some sort of, I'm talking about there, PERT Plus, VO4, Alberto's, but we're looking at this potential inverse head and shoulders on our CMF. We can look for patterns on our indicators just as we can look for patterns on our price action as well. So we're looking for this resistance when we get close to our zero line here, similar to where we hit here, unable to get through our zero line when our weekly chalk and money flow was trying to get above it the last time. We could be putting in a similar rejection there. So we're getting close to hitting these near-term resistance areas, still negative in our unbalanced volume on our weekly. Again, a double bottom with a higher low. But we're still so in the negative here, okay? So far, all this bounce is just correcting, mind you, from very oversold conditions. And listen, we had opportunities to buy Bitcoin with a weekly RSI under 30. We had opportunities to buy Bitcoin where our stochastic was pretty much bottomed out on our higher time frames. Okay, and we're seeing a response to that with this bullish move here. And last week's price action with the volume profile is encouraging. I want to go to my daily chart. Let's talk about more of a closer term time frame. We are on a green 8 on our daily RSI here. Okay, so it still shows us we have a day or two with the potential of a bleed up. Okay, we have a bleed down when we have a 9, and we bleed up bearishly. We've seen that on numerous circumstances. Here's our 9. Here's our bleed out. And we can go for a couple more candles of bullish momentum here with a bleed up after our 9, which potentially could set in the next several days of nice continued bullish momentum. Retesting potentially our major resistance line near term, which to the dollar amount is $4,400. Okay, that could also set in a more of a defined neckline of a potential inverse head and shoulders we've been watching potentially play out and form up for the past couple weeks here. And we're getting very close to maybe doing that. So what does that mean? Well, it means that our retrace, we really don't want that to go any lower than, I mean, listen, I don't want it to go lower than here. I don't want it to go lower than $3,600 if we're able to get us closer up to our neckline here. Now, if we break through our $4,400 area with conviction, okay, then, forget about the inverse head and shoulders. We can definitely begin to tackle this guy here, this major bearish candle that took us in the daily one day from 55 to $4,700. There was $800 candle there. Okay, as quickly as we fell through it, we can potentially quickly rise through it if the momentum is there, because there's limited resistance until we get up to about $5,500 with a conviction break of the $4,400 neckline. Until then, we're watching this begin to play out, because right now, this could be a very good bottoming scenario for a longer term expanse. Now, I want to bring up daily here. I want to auto it. I'm in log scale, and I want to mention this line here, which I'm going to maximize a little thicker and change the color to something like green. I'm going to hide my TDs. And good. Okay, so look at resistance, resistance, resistance. Couldn't get to it. Okay, this was our tether pump. Resistance, our last gasp. And then when we do that, okay, when we break this, when we have our resistance line, we continuously test. Then we fall super bearishly. What happens? Well, we want to get back and retest it and break above it. Now, what we're watching here is the potential for the move to do something like this with a retest of our neckline. And if we're able to do that, maybe we can do a full, we're talking about here, something like that, which would be our neck to head, which would put us perfectly with a retest of our overall major, I call this extremely major resistance line. Okay, that has held our price action below since above 10,000, let's call it, okay? This is our resistance line, which needs to be a back test line because we want to break above it. Best bull case scenario, break above it, back test it, and zoom, okay? But we're so far from any of this. We're so far from any of this scenario, and we're still so far from the line itself and our inverse head and shoulder potential to play out, because we still have to get to at least $4,400, okay, to really establish a really solid and complete neckline here. Okay, but this is a good first step as we just started a brand new day and we're already breaking through our key resistance areas that we've established over the past couple days. Now, I talk about daily RSI being above 50, able to maintain that and bullishly rise. Same thing. We closed at 51. There was our support at 50. We're able to use that to push a little bit higher here. That's what we're looking to create, that momentum of continuation. But we see our overall trend here. Oh, I got some artwork here. Let me hide my previous squiggles here for just a moment. It's funny, we circle all these areas and we go back to them weeks later. And whoa, what the heck just happened to my RSI? Hello. There we go. There we go. So listen, 60 right here. Gonna take this guy here. Okay, this is where we lost our bullish momentum. November 7th, okay? Right there was our top when we hit 60. Now, intraday, we could have actually been higher. Okay, we could have actually been higher, but we closed. Actually, it's not 60, it's like 59. And we are at 57. So we're getting closer to the last place of major resistance. However, this move, resistance, and come back here are actually holding support right at 49 there. This might have a little bit more running room in it, just the way the angle is set up. This was a very short move here, a short pause before the extension here. This is chilled out for a little bit longer, which could give this move a little bit more running room. So if we break 59, then we have to target something around 65. Both will act as very strong resistance if our price action is able to take it up to it. So we're getting very close to there. And that could correspond with our $4,400 area, which we're expecting that major resistance to commence if our price action is able to get up there. Daily stochastic. Look at that. I talked. Okay, this is the last show I did where I did a scenario where we could do a loop-de-loop double tap, and sure enough, there's our crossover. We're still in this upper zone of bullishness. There's our bull cross, and we can do a very similar situation where we do a loop-de-loop and retap our top area before completing our bullish move and doing a fuller reset. So our stochastic is telling us we can still range in this area of bullishness for some more time. MACD getting closer to our zero line on both of our indicators, still negative. And our histogram has been holding in this area. We were watching for a lessening of bullish momentum. And now at least we're beginning to put in that higher high pattern. And lastly, our chalk and money flow, which has been suspect through this whole process. What the heck happened there? I did it again. Still is something that we got to keep an eye on because we're not seeing on the daily that mega move that you would think you would see with $1,000 price action move in Bitcoin, as we're still putting in lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. And this is our indicator, boom, that is showing us this move. If it's going to have real long-term legs, we need to break our resistance line and our lower low pattern and at least get through our zero line here. And we're pretty far from that. We're notably pretty far from that. And that sets us a sign that maybe this move, though pumpy and resilient, is still just more of a larger overall correction from major oversold conditions. And that's what we're still potentially watching here, unless our chalk and money flow can really show us that movement that we're looking for. All right, quick look here back at some short-term time frame. Again, great volume there. We broke through our, no, we're over here now. We broke through our near-term equilibrium. Okay, we were putting in this equilibrium here through the day. Higher lows, lower highs, getting tighter, lower highs, lower low, but still this overall higher low. And like Bitcoin likes to do, volume out of nowhere as we start our new day here. I wanted to bring up, before I check out other areas to look at, our futures here. I put a tweet out on this a couple hours ago because we were watching a couple gaps in our price action. Let me go back to here. There we go. So we had a gap when we opened, a little gap. That was a gap down, which we had to fill it. That 38.45 was a mistake. Actually, the gap is it's right here, a little higher, 39 something there. So we had a lower gap, 35.35, and we had an upper gap here at 43.93. That's been open since November. And normally on the 4 hour, we don't get our 4 hours to have that many open gaps very long. We do see circumstances where it's weeks, okay? But we're getting closer to that area where we're getting at least a better chance to fill that upper gap there. And let me talk to you a little bit about what I'm talking about here. There are gaps on lower time frames like our 1 hour. But right here is a gap in our 4 hour price action, okay, where we skipped a beat. Okay, we skipped a beat, and because of that, We came very close on this candle to fill it, but we didn't. And ever since then, that gap has been open. Now we also have a gap right here where we broke bullish and left a gap right at 35.35. So those are the two gaps I was talking about. Now there are gaps lower, as low down here as 31.50 on the 1 hour, but not on the 4 hour. As we can see here, we have crossed. Here was our wick. Here is our wick. We can see they crossed each other. Gap is clear. There is no gap there on the 4 hour. So I'm going to be sticking with my higher time frame, looking for these gaps to fill. So what does this mean? This means that if we are able to get our price action to at least 43.94, we would fill our only open upper bullish gap here. And that would allow, in theory, our price action to then retreat back to reset and retest our lower gap. Doesn't mean we can't go a lot higher, okay? But I would like to see this gap filled as we are so close. And we're getting closer. We just got to 42.67. We got to get just a little bit higher there. And once that's filled, I actually would be looking for it to go down and fill our lower gap. But doesn't mean we can't go higher. And we see here, even on our futures, this quick bearish move here that can bring our price action all the way up to this resistance at 51.58. So looking for that gap fill there, looking for that gap fill here. These two and our one we opened up, which looks like it was filled. Yeah, see, look at that. We had a gap at open, it filled right here, and once that little guy was filled, boom, off to the races we were. Two gaps left in the 4 hour. This guy here, this guy here. Let's look at our longs and shorts. Bitcoin longs. Actually, I like to do the shorts first. Bitcoin shorts. Bitcoin longs. But before we do that, let's do a shout out to who is in the chat room tonight. 160 of my closest friends. Again, thank you everybody for joining my impromptu live session Sunday night. The week of Christmas. Happy holidays to you all around the world. Sarah, hello. Paul, Jangji, Robert Long, Errol, Uranzrum, SS Swartz 88, Christopher Nerland, The Wombly Jello, Red Cloud, Lou Saturn, Janararius, Rob Pignali, Joshua O'Neill, Luca Kasich, Crypto Squash, Michael G. Cipher, what's up, Rob, Brad Anderson, Lucas Kaczynski, E. Demur, John Mark Rogel, Martin Dolezal, My Two Cents, Kadoka, Kadota, Tony C., Dylan Mann, Noble One, Paul L., Roderick Winchester, Gary Dotson, Dylan Mann, Bud Thompson, Age 8 Prod Xns, yo, yo, yo. Hello, how's everybody doing tonight? Thank you so much for joining me on this impromptu live update on Bitcoin's very nice bullish price action. Longs and shorts, people. Now look at our shorts here. Okay, we were at our all-time high areas and they got slapped down again. And I'm still looking to hold in this area here. And we were doing so good for a couple days here, but now we're beginning to lose that momentum. It's quite interesting. I want to take my line down here. Yeah, we could go as low as like this area here, the 30,000 contracts area. Yeah, which seems to be our most recent major historic support area. And we see that our longs, this is our longs over here, had capitulated so much here that all they have is running room. You know, all they have is running room to move up. This is actually a good bullish setup because of the length that the longs have to run. And the shorts have room to fall. And it definitely looks like they're falling into this hyper descending wedge here. So we're going to keep an eye on that and see how tight that guy actually is. If we fall through it or actually find support on it. This is a cascade, and longs are just correcting. I had a better, go to my daily here. I had a better channel drawn on longs, and then TradingView just keeps changing it up every time I'm on like 6 different computers. That's why, I guess. I'll work on this later here. But yeah, there was something about a channel in the longs here that we were still holding our lower channel support. Oh, yeah, I'm in log. Maybe it was linear that was better. Yeah, there it is. There it was, right. It was linear that was showing it. So there's our channel on our longs, and we held our lower channel support. So what do we do when we hold our lower channel support? We target our middle channel resistance. And frankly, that's our bullish. That's how much running room we potentially have in our longs here. Well, that's nice. That could definitely take us a lot higher in our bull market or in our bullish move here in the price of Bitcoin. Let's go back to Bitcoin and let's check out where we are as we have started a new week on our 4 hour, which gives me the idea. Let's run our 4 hour to bring up our cloud. Now we've been watching our cloud, and this was a great way to get a sense that we were really kind of find our bullish support and continuation. 4 hour candle here, first one closed into the cloud, allowed a full edge to edge extension. First breakthrough, a little too much, came back in, found that resistance, bullishly broke through, and here was the key, was this back test right here and hold of our Klumo cloud support, resistance turned support, and boom, that allowed our price action to continue with a bullish Kumo twist, which can add additional support in the coming days. Push up to our 6 hour and see what our cloud looks like on our 6 hour. Aha! Now our 6 hour is telling us, God, there's so much confluence at our $4,400 area. Look where our top of our Kumo cloud near term finds resistance right at 39.36, 43.96. Wow, can you tell I got a little dyslexia? And we're seeing that could be our next area on our 6 hour as we're riding through, and we want to do a full edge to edge on our 6 hour cloud. What's our 12 hour look like? 12 hour finds resistance around 42.78. Interesting. And we're still watching for a TK cross here, not confirmed yet. You hide my cloud, hide my drawings, bring up my TD. We had a 9 with a 1 to 4 candle correction. And now we have on our 12 hour, again, we just started this candle here. It's so hard to delve into it when we're just like an hour and a half into it. But we do have a currently green 2 over a green 1. Let's do our 1 hour though, okay? So from a 1 hour standpoint, green 2 over green 1 with running room. Something similar to what we did here, but that didn't last too long, only to about a 5-6 before we did our price flip. I like this volume though. Did we do it? No, we didn't do it yet. So we're near term, we've broken through. Now let me just see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, what if we just basically done our file? Let's just say that the counts. And we truncated there. Where do we go here? The 328. Yeah, look at that. We're finding support now on our 328 extension of wave 3. So we can still target much higher. Now we can obviously see that wave 3 was a significant. I mean, I don't even have to do. This was like nutso, right? Yeah, that was a crazy extension if this was all of 3. And then in the 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does that make sense? Because it's 3, 1, 2, so 3 to 5. So 5 was more than 3, and then of 3, oops, to 5, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, that's actually kind of valid. 3 was not the shortest, and 5 was extended, and there's 4 or 5 there. But this can take us, again, there's that confluence, or was it 44 or something, right? Yeah, right in our pocket there. That will coincide with basically a 618 to 786 right there. So all this is still playing out to that $4,400 resistance check and retest one more time on our Bitcoin price action. Who else we have here? Let's see here. Thank you for fun. Thank you, Stu Smith. I appreciate you being fans. Thank you, DMT. Age 8 Prod XNS. What's up, buddy? Thank you, SS. I'm happy to be here for you. Let's see here. Now, tomorrow's price action in the U.S. stock market is also going to be very interesting to watch, as we have a half a day and then we're closed on Tuesday. I don't want to really go too far into alts, although we can clearly say that Ethereum, okay, when Ethereum was at 80 and now we've gone crazy. What kind of move is this? I mean, we talk about Bitcoin finding stability, altcoins can move. So we have almost an 80% move in Ethereum, and we have a huge move in BCH back over 200. Yep, back over 200, and kind of still flagging there. So we've had just incredible percentage moves, 229% in a very short amount of time after breaking so bearish so easily. This is crypto, people. This is why we love crypto. It's killer, okay, and then it just creates windfalls out of nowhere, and signs are there. It's feelings when we're in the most bearishness of times. But listen, we're still in a downtrend. We're still in a bear market. We're still putting in overall lower lows until we can break the major resistance areas that continue to hold our price down. And for now, $4,400. If we can get up there, and we can retest that area, the price action there is very significant. If we can get through $4,400 easily, like if we blow through it like it's nothing, then we're going back to like $5,200, probably pretty easily, because of how easily we were able to break bearishly here. That would take a lot of money flow. And the problem with that is how fast we're doing this, because by then, our major indicators, which were so oversold, can be really overbought. We have running room in our daily. We have running room in our weekly. We have running room in our monthly. Let's go to our monthly here. Reminds me. Because we have a week left, okay? We have a week left in our monthly. I'm going to revert to my stamp chart. Now, we were a little bit lower, but we basically were here finding that area where we had been in our RSI historically. Ultra low monthly 43. We're at 45. But remember, and that 43 here actually did mark our bottom, January 1st of 2015. That's interesting. So have we put in our low yet? Or do we have one more croc down after we come up just a little bit after breaking so bearish for so long here? Notice our stochastic here, monthly. Okay, still way down in the depths, but looking like it wants to do some sort of a cross here. If we can have a nice bullish week to end up the month, for sure we can look for some sort of a cross, but we've done it before. This was a fake out here we had back in September. We crossed bullishly here only to fall back under. Okay, we're at 0. We're literally at 0, right? We're at 0. We're at 0 on our leading indicator. We're at 0.3 on our trailing. The last time we hit 0 a couple times here. Okay, we were rising higher before we actually hit our bottom last time. Interesting. So again, historic lows on our monthly. And look at our monthly candle. There's our bottom hammer. This is a good looking bottom monthly hammer with a week to go to keep this guy rocking, you know? But we don't want to close below 39.62. That would still put it another lower low on our monthly. And on our TD, we're still on a red 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. With a lot of running room to do a full cycle here. Look at that volume this month. Good volume this month. So a lot of signs are showing we can close the month up strong with a good monthly candle after finishing up a good weekly candle. This week we want to range, at least in this price action, hold in this zone. A close above 44.18 would put us above our November 26th candle. But after that, the next rung up is right here at $5,200, which was our low in support of this week before we were unable to hold that. Between 44 and 52, there's kind of nothing. Just as we fell bearishly, we could rise bullishly, but only with that break of $4,400. We still have a ways to go and a lot of more bullish price action needed for that to actually ensue. All right, guys, 40 minutes. Whew. Thank you for joining me. Happy Sunday night to you all. We'll keep you guys in touch through the week. If you enjoy my content, please give me a thumbs up. Please give me a follow. Please give me a shout out, a friend follow. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter. Consider becoming a member of Bitcoin Live. I hope to do more great content with them in the near future. And keep an eye on our volume, because our volume continues to tell us the overall story of what the potential of Bitcoin's price action can be. And as long as we're able to hold our areas of support that we've been able to establish, like our Ichimoku cloud, okay? And, I really didn't even touch on it, but our Bollingers have been instrumental in showing us where support on our middle BB has allowed that extension again through our 4-hour and through our daily. So what are we doing here? We're spreading out our dailies once again. But remember, we don't like to get too far out of stride on our daily, bullishly or bearishly. So if we're able to push through here more, watch our resistance and our push through on overbought conditions. Again, we don't like to be outside of our daily for too long on our Bollinger. And of course, our weekly, we have a ways to go to even get up to our middle Bollinger, which is still way in the $5,600 range. Remember, our monthly Bollinger is still way away from support and resistance. Middle BB is still in the 6s, but our lower Bollinger, which is at 800, is going to rise several $100s as we close out our month in a week from now, which will add additional support in the near future. All right, guys, thank you very much for following me tonight. Stay safe out there. Enjoy the price action. Trade safe. Big Chonis. Talk to you soon. Peace out.